Welcome back to A Plus Parents, everyone. And if you've got a young person at home that is interested in starting a business, going to college while still being in high school, you want to head to right where we are right now today because you're about to meet Hartley Newman because Hartley is doing all those things. So, super cool teenager. I'm so excited to have her here. Let me tell you a little bit about Hartley, and then I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about herself as well. She's 16 years old, almost 17. She's been homeschooled her whole entire education career. And so she's currently, she's going to be finishing her high school program in 2025, but she's already dual enrolled at college, taking college classes, which she does every semester now, which is really, really awesome. So now it's not just that, she's actually pretty busy because she already has started a business. And I had to practice this word. Are you ready? She is in the equine business. How'd I do, Harley? Did I say that right?
You did it great.
Yeah, look at you got fireworks going off in the background.
Woo!
I love it. That's awesome. All right, very good. So she does part-time college. She's homeschooled as a high school student, and she has an equine business. And equine means what? Well, it means that she works with horses. So she's pretty good at it. She's so good at it that there's actually a company that has sponsored her to do what? To rep their products. And so I'm going to have her tell you about them. That company's called, let me see if I got this right too. Equidema. Did I say that right? Equiderma, right?
Equiderma, you got it.
Equiderma. So it's a company that does products for horses that helps them with their skin. And, I'll let her tell you more about that so you can see as well. And so she's what they call a brand ambassador, which means they send her cool stuff that she gets to work with and check out the products and work with the horses she works with, and then talk about that. She's got her own website, so we're going to link that up in the show notes. You can go in and check it out and see what she's doing and where she's already doing riding lessons. And she is, let's see, here comes another word. Here it comes. Ready? She does, you're a dressage rider. Is that rider, right? Is that right?
You
Okay.
got it.
All right. Good deal. So I'm learning all these like cool phrases in your industry, right? So you're
Yeah,
a dressage rider, right? And you're a barn hand for a group of horses that are competitive dressage horses. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. So you're also setting up your own equine related business relating to the training and to the sales of high quality horses. So just super cool. It's kind of fun. Like you kind of see, what you're up to and already know what you're passionate about and taking that passion and turning it into a lifestyle for yourself, which is really, really great. Okay. So let's see. And then on the, I know that they'll find Instagram. So when you're doing the things for Instagram, is that something you post to the company's website, to Equiderma, or do you put it on your site, or does it not go on both?
So typically I post it on my Instagram, whether it be a video or photos, and the company they'll take the post that I posted on my Instagram and repost it on theirs. So I think that's awesome. It's
That's
great to be
really
able to
awesome.
see, my advertisement up on their social platform. I just think that's incredible. It's so exciting every time I see it. I'm like, whoa, no way.
That's really cool. Okay. So you're 16, almost 17. So when did you get into training horses? Like, how long have you been doing this?
Okay, so I have been into riding horses for about 9 years now, so it's been quite a while. I was into horses before that, but I only started actually riding and getting competitive, like I said, 9 years ago. Since then, I've been hooked. I mean, I'm ready to commit my whole life to these animals. I love the sport. It is so much fun. I've learned so much, not just, about the sport and the physical labor, but also just a lot of morals. And I've learned to be patient. So I've learned quite a bit from it. And yeah, I've really loved it.
Wow. All right. So that's awesome. Now, it's kind of, you think about, and you use the word sport. So I like you use that word sport because if you think about any sport that people can get involved in football, baseball, even the arts, like in dance and theater and things like that, it's not always just it's not like if you play baseball, there's so many different things you could do as a baseball player in the baseball sport, right? So you could get into into working with with the audio visual part. You could be an announcer, you could be a player, you could be a coach, be a manager, be a press agent, like marketing, all these different things that go into that. So when you look at your industry as a sport, right? what is it that you want to do in the future that comes to working with relating to horses? What's your kind of your passion for where you see yourself in the industry?
So, where I see myself in the industry and kind of what I want to do in the future, hopefully, is I would like to continue giving dressage riding lessons to people, of any age, just teaching them how to ride, how to balance, find their rhythm, get confident on the horse, and eventually work their way up the levels of riding and compete. So I just think it's so much fun to teach people. That's something I've always enjoyed is just teaching people. I love to see those people, realize what I'm talking about when I say, okay, I want you to sit back and put your shoulders back and relax and sit deep into the saddle. And then they'll feel the change in the horse's movement and they're like, wow, that's incredible. Like, that's how it is. I just love it.
Wow.
I think it's so fun.
Very cool. Okay, now, I just learned how to say the word, right? Which, if I'm just learning how to say the word, you probably would guess that I don't know much about what dressage is, right? So I know it's a style of writing, but can you tell, because there's probably are some of our listeners probably may not know that as well.
Yeah,
So kind of what does that mean when you say you train people to be a do you say to ride dressage or a
to
dressage
ride
rider?
dressage.
Right. Okay. So what does that mean? Like if you're riding dressage, how is that different than riding another way?
So, dressage is the oldest equine related sport out there. It originated in Europe. Basically, what it consists of is both men and women compete on the same class, and they're assigned these basically what we call a test. It's a pattern they have to ride in an arena. The arena has markers on the outsides, which the markers are actually letters. So the rider has to memorize this whole entire pattern that they have to do around the arena while still making it look beautiful, getting their horse to step higher and prettier and almost look like a dancing team together while doing this whole entire course. The course always begins with a salute to the judge, as there is a judge related at these competitions, and starts and begins with that. So, you salute your judge when you enter the arena, you salute when you exit. Um, so it's really cool. I love that it's one of the oldest sports because what's great about it is if you know how to ride dressage or a dressage, what we call, a test, like I was just talking about, that big pattern in the arena, people say you can do any sort of riding, whether that's jumping your horse or, galloping. You can do anything because that is the hardest equine related sport there is, dressage.
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. So I think of horses and I just think of barrel racing. That's all I come up with, right? So that's a whole different world. So, okay, so here you are and you're in the business, you're going to college and you're a homeschooler, right? So,
Yes.
how is being homeschooled? How has that affected your business, to be able to be engaged where here you are as a teenager and you've started a business, you're sponsored by a national company. It's just so cool, right? So how does homeschooling, how's that made a difference for you to be homeschooled?
So it has been great being homeschooled because it gives me so much free time to do what I love and get outside. Because not only do I can learn inside on my computer from a book, but I can also go outside and learn more with my horses, which is great. Typically in a public school, you don't really get to go outside and work with your animals as education. So I think it's great that I can do that and I have the flexibility and free time to do all of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting because people talk about, the difference about when you're homeschooled versus when you're going to a school. And it oftentimes come up and they think, when you say like you have more free time, and people think, oh, well, you must not do as much school. That's not true at all. You actually,
No.
you often do more than that, right? And
Yeah.
and I think what happens is people forget when you're in school, there's getting on the bus and finding your way to school. Once you get to school, there's the time to get to your first, whether it's a homeroom class, your first period class. There's all the time in between the classes. There's lunchtime, and then there's all the time between more classes. And then at the end of the day, you got to find your way home. When you take all of that time, and I've actually looked at it, I used to be a school teacher a long time ago, right? When we looked at it, you're actually in class for just about 3 hours a day. You know, and if
Really?
you yeah, if you think about your homeschool day, you're probably doing your homeschooling for just about 3 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. About 3
So
to
you
4
good.
hours.
Right? So you're doing the same education, you get to do it at home, right? And oftentimes you get to do even more, and obviously you are because you've already got yourself registered and enrolled and taking college classes still, as a high school student. So it's great. So I know when you say free time, it's, other people are like, "Oh, well, you must not be doing everything everybody else is doing." Actually, not true. You're doing even more. It's just that
Yes.
the way that you're doing it allows you to have more time in your day, which is really, really great. So
Totally.
that's cool. So congratulations and tell your mom and dad thank you for making that happen for you, right? So that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you picked the equine industry, right? This is you. So how did you decide that this is what you wanted to do? What really kind of got you? It's like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to work.
So, when I first got my first equine-related job, which was a, um, barn over about 20 minutes away from me, it's just a small lesson barn where there was an instructor and she gave people lessons on her horses. I was hired there to help take care of the horses, like feed them their hay, their, grain, refill their waters, move them from pasture to pasture or from their stall to the pasture, clean out their stalls, yada, yada, yada. Um, and, most people think, ew, that sounds like such a messy, crazy job. That's so much work. It takes forever. But to me, every time I went out to go work, I loved it. I was having the time of my life. I was just like, this is great. I love being around these animals when even if I am having to do laborious work, I just enjoy it. It's great to know that, you know, I can take care of them and make them feel comfortable and happy and enjoy my time just silently sitting there peacefully cleaning a stall, which, to most people sounds gross. But again, I think it's enjoyable. It's quiet.
I know when you were talking about, feeding them hay and, doing that kind of stuff, I was like, okay, okay. And then you got to the cleaning the stall part, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I want to do that part, but okay. But I'm glad you like find the joy in all of it. Do you ever notice when you come to where you're working with a horse and the horse and can you tell is the horse excited when it sees you?
Oh, totally. I can definitely see it. I have a big horse. She's her name is Khaleesi, and every time I walk outside, she always neighs at me. Only me though, because she's bonded to me. If my dad or my mom or one of my brothers walks outside, she kind of just ignores them, keeps eating her hay and relaxing. But she sees me, and her ears go up, and she neighs at me like, "Oh, hey, there you are."
Wow. Oh, that's very cool. That must feel good for you too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so, it's interesting, right? When you look at, especially working with animals, and I've heard people say this before, it's kind of like you're already doing this. You have this partnership with your horse and with the other horses that you care for. When you're in a partnership, any kind of partnership, we're always learning from each other. So, what would you say is the most interesting thing that you've learned from working with horses, and any of the horses in particular that taught you a really cool lesson?
So something that I've learned with horses that has taken me so far in life is that everything takes time and patience is key. For example, let's say you want to run a marathon, a very long marathon, but you're not really in shape. You can't expect to just be able to run that marathon and do well. Obviously, if you're not in shape, you're going to have to train every single day. It's going to take ages. You're going to have to watch your diet. That's kind of the same how it is with the sport and the animals. And you have setbacks too. Sometimes you or your horse might get injured. You might need time off. And then it's like, oh, great. Now I have to retrain all of what I just did. But you have to be patient, obviously. It's just like one of those things. Yeah, does it suck? Definitely. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to get on the horse and go compete as high as levels I can go. But I know that both me and my horse have to get in shape and we have to be ready. So patience is key.
Wow, that's something really great to learn too. Isn't that awesome? So because you can take that in anything, you're developing a business, you're building a relationship, you just think about all the different things, all of it takes patience. And, you know,
Totally.
when it's time and you build and you get to the next level. So isn't that cool? All right. So, you've got this company. First of all, how did Equiderma, did I say that right? Or Equiderma?
Yes.
Equiderma. How,
Equiderma.
how did they find you? How did you become a brand ambassador for them?
Okay, so the story about that is one day I was on Facebook and I saw an advertisement for their products. And, I think to myself, oh, I feel like I may have used their products in the past and I did really like it. And their advertisement said they were looking for brand ambassadors. So I went ahead and I clicked the link to their website and I did a little research on it and I thought, well, that looks really cool. I like their products. It would be great to be a brand ambassador. So they had a little application form you filled out and they picked, I want to say it was 4 people total. So I filled out the application and I went ahead and just waited. There comes the patience again. And
Right.
I finally got an email from them saying I was accepted to be a brand ambassador. And they started by giving me a little rundown through an email of, what we're going to do. And it went from there.
Wow. That's really cool. All right. So, not only are you like, a brand ambassador and you get to check out their products and they're sending you new things and you get to represent the company, what have you noticed for yourself? Because when you're working with a company where you're kind of the face of the company, right? There's a whole skill set. Like there's new things that you get to learn about yourself and, about how businesses work. What have you learned about, as a brand ambassador? What skills have you learned?
So, for being a brand ambassador, so one of my jobs was obviously advertising and making their products look appealing. So something I took from that was how to do digital editing and Photoshop, which has been really cool because I'm not a super techie person. So getting to learn about how to do that on my own time, I never even took a class about it. I just kind of figured it out myself using a couple different apps and I can make, a super dull picture of one of their products. Let's just say there was bad lighting or something. I can make it look bright and beautiful and fun and eye catching. I can add text to the picture. I can add, all kinds of effects. I can make it look like it's raining if I did a video. Like I've learned how to do so much when it comes to digital editing. Um, Not only that, but, when I possibly write a caption for the advertisement or something like that, I've learned how to make the caption sound fun and inviting and appealing, yet still professional.
Wow. Let's see. Somebody that's going to be starting their own business, do you think those are some good skills to have? Right?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, one day I might need to advertise my own business. So
That's
it's great that I
right.
can learn
Yeah.
now.
Wow, that's so great. That's great. And it's great. I always believe when there's a project, leave it to a teenager because they're gonna figure it out, right? Because you
Yes.
will figure it out, and maybe there's a class to take, maybe not, and you get the app or you find something online or YouTube it or whatever you do, right? But how cool is that that you were able to get in and do that? And congratulations. It's really awesome. So, okay. So here we are. Are you competing as well?
I am, yes.
Huh? So tell us what's coming up for you? What are you training for right now?
So right now I just got my new horse, which is the mare I talked about earlier. Mare means female horse.
Okay.
She's the one named Khaleesi, and right now I'm just trying to build up her muscle because she needs some muscle right now to compete with her next month. Just doing some low and mid level quote unquote tests with her at some competitions. And what's great about the competitions and a little bit nerve wracking is that they are USA recognized. So all of my scores, that the judge decides, all go up on a big website for everybody to see, which is crazy, but it's so cool.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's great because it's like so that your horse. Tell me the horse's name again.
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi. So is this new for Khaleesi to be in this kind of genre of like competing and doing the test?
So with her in the past, she has done, competitions and tests, but due to her old owner quitting the sport, she was off. of, any sort of work for months and months and months. So obviously she lost all her muscle mass and her
Mhm.
skills. So that's what I'm doing right now is now that I bought her, I'm rebuilding all of those skills and muscle that she had before.
Wow. So kind of like a, a person as well. It's fine. So I'm a musician. So I've been playing the trumpet since I was 11 years old, right? And I'm
Wow.
way older than that now. But it's, for me, it's today, there used to be like if we had I was playing with a band or we had a concert or something, playing for 2 hours straight, no problem at all. Today, it's like playing for 2 minutes straight, and I'm totally exhausted, my lips hurt, and I'm like, "Ah, that's all I can do," right? But I still know how to play, but I don't have the muscle mass for it anymore, even the muscle memory. So, sounds like for your horse is doing that as well, like, kind of relearning all that. It's gotta be exciting for the horse too to know it's like, "Oh, we're doing
Totally.
this kind of cool stuff again," and get back in the game. So that's really awesome. No wonder
Totally.
she's so happy when she sees you, right?
Yeah, what a great comparison to compare it to, playing an instrument. That is actually a really great comparison.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for that. Okay, so what I'd like to do, if this is okay with you, is come back a little later in the year and let's see how it's going and let's see how you and Khaleesi, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, yep, you got
Okay,
it.
how you and Khaleesi did in the competition and how it's going and your partnerships and new things that you're up to, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course, that would be awesome.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, everybody listening today, I hope that you found our friend Hartley here to be as inspiring as I have. And Hartley, tell us your website, and then we're going to put it in the show notes too, because I know it takes a little bit to get there. So,
Okay, so my website is Hartley Sue, and that is spelled HartleySue at let me just quickly pull it
that
up
was
and make sure I'm
dot.
giving you guys the right thing.
Yeah, it
So
was.
yeah, Hartley
Yeah, I know
Sue
that. Yep. The next part was dot Wixsite,
dot
Wixsite,
Wixsite
and then dot com, and then there's a forward slash.
/ and then Newman NEWMAN dressage
Yeah.
DRESSAGE.
Okay, perfect. So just in case people don't have the show notes in front of them and can't click there, they could write that down, kind of pause this and listen again. Otherwise, we'll post it in the show notes for everybody. You can check out your website, see what you're up to. And who knows about how many other young people out there that you've inspired today to take that next step in their life to take on what they love to do. So thank you for being an
Yeah,
inspiration. That's awesome. All right,
thank
everyone.
you.
Well, thanks for tuning in today to A Plus Parents, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.